Hello and welcome back. Today we're taking a look back at a game that had some big shoes to fill. Spider-Man 2, enter Electro. Following up on the surprise hit that was the first game, this sequel was released to some pretty mixed reviews. So, what went right and what went wrong? Let's dive in. The game's story picks up shortly after the first game, with Spider-Man still being framed by the Daily Bugle and getting no credit for saving the day. The plot kicks off with a series of robberies led by Electro, who's on a mission to build the Bio-Nexus device. This device will amplify his powers to godlike levels. Spidey, while trying to foil these heists, comes across several villains, including Shocker, Hammerhead, Beetle, and Sandman. He even has a run-in with a transformed lizard, who helps him understand Electro's master plan. The chase culminates in a final showdown where Electro uses the Bio-Nexus device to become Hyper Electro, a being of pure electrical energy, leading to a climactic battle atop a skyscraper. In the end, Spider-Man defeats Electro, only to have the Daily Bugle give all the credit to Thor. A frustrating but humorous conclusion for our hero. Enter. Electro made some notable changes from its predecessor. One of the biggest was the ability to play on ground levels, a huge departure from the previous game's yellow mist of death, if you swung too low. The enemies were also more grounded in reality, replacing the first game's lizard men and symbiotes with criminals and robots. The gameplay introduced a few new moves, like the ability to shoot a web ball in mid-air, and new elemental web types like electricity and ice. The training mode was set in the X-Men's Danger Room, with Rogue and Professor X helping you learn the ropes. The game also featured a Create a Spider mode, letting you customize any unlocked costume with up to 3 special powers, like enhanced strength or invincibility. It was a neat way to add replayability. The game received a mixed reception, with many critics feeling it was a downgrade from the original. A common criticism was the choice of more obscure villains and the game's short length. The storyline was also divisive. Some players enjoyed it, while others felt it wasn't on par with the first game's narrative. However, it wasn't all negative. The game was praised for its graphics, voice acting, and soundtrack, which were all considered to be top-notch. The core gameplay was also well-received, building on the solid foundation of the first game. As Jeff Lundgren from Next Generation put it, the game was a worthy successor, if not as exceptional as the original. One of the most infamous parts of the game, is the change made after the 9/11 attacks. The final level was originally set to take place on top of the World Trade Center, but this was changed to a generic skyscraper before the game's release. This somber but necessary modification is a poignant detail that places the game firmly in its historical context. In my opinion, Spider-Man 2. Enter. Electro is a classic example of a sequel that tried to push boundaries but didn't quite stick the landing. It's a game that I have fond memories of, even with its flaws. While it may not have reached the same heights as its predecessor, it was still an important part of my gaming journey. It showed that even if a game isn't perfect, it can still have a lot of heart and provide a fun experience. The game's strong points, like the gameplay and soundtrack, are what made it memorable for me. It's a game that proves sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And that's why it will always have a special place in my collection. That's all from me for today. Thank you for listening. Until next time.